Study Section 2. Freund's Theory of Psychosexual Development Continuation. Introduction. The students, having been exposed to the basic assumptions of Freund's psychosexual stage, will have deeper insight of Freund's theory and the evaluation of the theory. Objective. At the end of this lecture, you should be able to discuss the shortcomings and strengths of Freund's theory. Pretext. 1. What is Oedipus complex? 2. What do boys eventually identify with their same-sex parents? Content. Phallic stage. The child passes through the phallic stage between ages 3 year to 5 year, when the player zone switches to the genitals. Freund believed that during phallic stage, boys develop unconscious sexual desires for their mother. The stage is associated with the Oedipus complex, when the boys become rivals with their father and see them as a competitor for the mother's affection. Thus, the boys develop a fear that their father will punish them for these feelings, such as by castrating them. This group of feelings is known as Oedipus complex. Freud noted this conflict in the play Oedipus Rex, after the Greek mythology figure, in which Oedipus, that was abandoned as an infant, later kills his father and marries his mother without knowing their experience. It was later added that girls go through a similar situation, developing unconscious sexual attraction to their father. Although Freud strongly disagreed with this, it has been termed the Electra complex by more recent psychoanalysts. The oral and anal stages are the same for both girls and boys, so the focus of affection and attention is on the mother for both. At the phallic stage, the focus of the girls change from the mother to the father, when the girls realize that they do not have penises, so they develop penis envy. This realization, coupled with the knowledge that their mother does not have a penis, leads to their thinking that she is unworthy and thus becoming attracted to their father, as he does have a penis. Because of the penis envy, the girls become angry at their mother, whom they believe caused them to be born without a penis, and thus becomes attracted to their father. This is known as Electra complex. This is named by Carl Jung after a Greek character that had her mother killed, Kimatsun and Delvin, 1997. Freud believed that Oedipus' story reflected a universal truth: the sexual attraction of each child to the opposite sex parents. Resolution of the conflict leads to identification with the same-sex parents. The boy gives up his desire for his mother because of castration anxiety, the fear that his father will punish him by removing his genitals. According to Freud, out of fear of castration and due to the strong competition of his father, boys eventually decide to identify with him rather than fight him. Thus, the boy represses his sexual feelings towards his mother. He then chooses instead to identify with his father as a male and develops masculine characteristics, hoping that someday he will have a relationship with a woman, though not his mother. Just like dear old dad has with his mother, a fixation at this stage could result in sexual deviances, both overindulging and avoidance, and weak or confused sexual identity, according to psychoanalysts. Just as with boys, girls begin to suspect the same-sex parents knows about their attraction to the opposite-sex parents, and they hate them for it. Fearing the loss of maternal love, the girl identifies with her mother, hoping to still attract her father. These feelings go round and round for a while, until the point when the girls renounce their feelings for their fathers and identify with their mothers. Through the process of identification, the boys and girls establish their gender identity and sexual orientation, and from their superego. Latency stage. Freud called the period between age 5 and puberty. The latency stage, it was relatively uninterested in this stage because it believed that this was a time of little psychosexual development. This period occurs after the Oedipus conflict has been resolved and the feelings that were aroused during that time have subsided. Thus, the sexual urges remain repressed and children interact and play mostly with same-sex pairs. Freud believed that child develops social skills and friendship as this is a period of rest where there are no developmental events. Genital stage. The final stage of psychosexual development begins at the start of puberty, when sexual urges are once again awakened. Here, the child reaches the genital stage and becomes sexually attracted to other people. It involves the development of the genitals as libido begins to be used in its sexual role. Gratification is achieved through genital stimulation and development of intimate relationships. However, those feelings for the opposite sex are a source of anxiety because they are reminders of the feelings for the parents and the trauma that resulted from all that. To Freud, the first three stages are the most important determinants of personality development, and that personality is essentially fixed by the age of 5 years. Evaluation of Freud's psychosexual development theory. This theory is probably the best known while it is most controversial. Some of its evaluation include the following 4 points. 1. Difficulty to test, but the evidence that has been gathered is not favorable. 2. The crucial events, e.g., how the libido is used, are unobservable, and there are no good means to measure them. 3. There is an awfully long time between the occurrence of the causal stimulus and its presumed effects. Relationships between early events and later traits tend to be weak and inconsistent. 4. This theory of development was conceived without studying children. Rather, it was developed from patients' recollections, dreams, and free associations. Freud's theory focuses on sex and aggression. During the time period Freud lived in, sex and sexual ideas did not make for socially acceptable topics for dinner conversation or any other sort of conversations. Those ideas were unspoken because they were socially unacceptable. Some studies are carried out in which people tell negative secrets to the experimental, in confidence and with confidentiality. A few months later, the well-being of the people are measured. People who tell the negative secrets have higher levels of well-being than people who did not reveal any negative secrets. One such measure is the number of trips to the university medical office for illness treatment. The above findings that confessing negative secrets leads to higher well-being relates to Freud's work by illustrating that people who release some socially unacceptable thoughts or belief or action feel better as a result. This suggests that Freud may have been correct about psychic energy being tied up in negative things, although the exact content of those things may not be sex and aggression. Thus, Freud may have correctly identified an important aspect of well-being: the notion that unspoken thoughts can influence our behavior, but identifying the content of the thoughts as exclusively sexual and aggressive may be incorrect. Post-test. What are the stages of Freud's psychosexual theory? Discuss the contribution of each stage to personality development. Summary. In this lecture, the students have learned the following. 1. the 3 test stages of Freud's psychosexual theory of development. 2. Oedipus complex development, and now it is resolved. End of study section 2. Thanks for listening.